on this historic day from outside the White House, and it's great to see you.
Good to see you.
Kayleigh, at the beginning of this, we were watching some things that we never thought we'd see, and it's been a tough road. But it seems like, and this is not a cure, but it seems like we are coming now in this battle with a new weapon.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Having not one, but two vaccines that have 95% efficacy. And as Moncef's always been emphasizing, we have a portfolio of 6 vaccines, 2 others in phase 3 clinical trial that could come on the back end of these 2. This is remarkable progress. It's a medical miracle. As President Trump tweeted today, this should have been 5 years down the road potentially, but we got it done now by tearing down red tape. It's a great day for America. This is an achievement we can all celebrate together.
Now, you mentioned President Trump in a tweet, and I want to show everybody this. The president has decided to delay a plan to fast-track vaccines for White House staff members. Tweeted this: people working in the White House should receive the vaccine somewhat later in the program, unless specifically necessary. I have asked that this be the adjustment, that this adjustment be made. I am not scheduled to take the vaccine, but look forward to doing so at the appropriate time. Kayleigh, this was actually kind of a reversal of the Presidential Policy Directive 40, which says that for continuity of government, the White House staff and others should go first. Why did the president decide this?
Yeah, that policy directive was actually passed by President Obama. We were putting that into place. But what the president decided is, look, frontline workers need to come first. Our residents in long-term care facilities need to come first. We will still have continuity of government. Key officials like Situation Room staff, among others, will have access to this vaccine. Some certain members of Congress. So there will be continuity of government. But he is unashamed in saying, look, number one, it's the most vulnerable. It's our heroic frontline workers, who should be time person of the year, by the way, and it should be our residents in long-term care facilities.
One more about COVID-19, and then we'll move on. I was reading through what we could with the relief bill that's coming up. You know, there's $6 billion set aside to help with the vaccination distribution. My goodness, Congress, come on. Is the president going to have to go over to Capitol Hill to get this thing moving?
Look, we want to see this get done, and, I talked with the chief of staff about this morning, and, he said Nancy Pelosi, unfortunately, is putting the interests of trial lawyers first here because, look, these trial lawyers are the ones who are going to go after small businesses who, that's the last thing they need as they're trying to weather through COVID, is all of this litigation and liability on their hands, and she's prioritizing the interests of trial lawyers, unfortunately, over that of the American people. And we also want the money to go directly to the American people in forms of direct payment checks, not siphoned through state and local governments where it never really sees the light of day. So that's our priority. But come on, Nancy Pelosi, come get serious and negotiate with us. That's what we're asking for.
Yeah, and we can look at this in a bipartisan manner, too. It takes two sides of the bicameral chamber to talk about these things. Maybe they can use their powers of persuasion to get us going forth, because the vaccine is rolling. And they're going to need that money to distribute it. Okay, President Trump took aim at Attorney General William Barr, saying he should have stepped up and set the record straight after Joe Biden said his son did not make any money from China during the presidential debate. Here's the president.
All he had to do is say an investigation's going on. When you affect an election, Bill Barr, frankly, did the wrong thing. When they are saying things, making statements, and the press is purposely not reporting it, Bill Barr, I know, had an obligation to set the record straight, just like Robert Mueller set the record straight.
What's your reaction to that?
And President Trump's exactly right, and his analogy could not be more appropriate to Robert Mueller, who, in a rare move, came out and said that this BuzzFeed story is just not true. When you have one of the nation's largest newspapers banned from Twitter, when you have entities like the New York Times calling the Hunter Biden information Russia misinformation, ironically the same publication that won Pulitzers on Russia disinformation, and when they're out there saying this and it's being echoed across every single airwave except Fox, I would point out, you have an obligation to come out, because you are affecting an election by not coming out and saying that this investigation exists and it is not in fact Russia misinformation.
Is there a divide between the President of the United States and Attorney General Bill Barr over this issue? Because he didn't come out and say what was going on before the election.
Yeah, there's a clear frustration. I'll leave it at that. But he's frustrated. He's very public about it. And, the country was misled, unfortunately, by a number of news outlets saying that this was a fact-free conspiracy theory. I was right there with the president when he was interviewing with 60 Minutes' Leslie Stahl, where she wouldn't even let him speak on the Hunter Biden scandal. Said, we don't air things like this on 60 Minutes. Well, it was truthful all along. The facts were there. It was ignored. And it's unfortunate that the Attorney General didn't come out.
All right, we'll follow the news as it comes. I know the president wants somebody special put on this. He said prosecutor, maybe special counsel going forward, so that the case might be looked at into the potential future of the next administration. Let's move to this. Senate Homeland Security Committee Chairman Ron Johnson said this about his investigation into Hunter Biden.
We've only got a response from Hunter and Devin's attorney not to cooperate. Nobody else has even responded to us. And that contrasts, I think, sharply with, for example, President Trump's children and his associates that voluntarily submitted to literally hundreds of hours of transcribed interviews that turned over thousands of documents, didn't require a subpoena in most cases. Why are they, basically hiding in the weeds?
Hiding in the weeds, Kaylee?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what a contrast. I had colleagues like my friend Hope Hicks, who was hauled before Congress, Don Jr., others, over nothing, over a fake investigation into Russia collusion ties that never existed. And then here, they're being stonewalled because there are real questions here. We were told it was all fake. It's not the case. But they should do exactly what the Trump children, members of the Trump administration, have done, which is to be transparent. If there's nothing to see, there's also no reason to hide.
All right. I do want to get to Georgia here. The new warnings that the Hunter Biden probe is on the line as early voting begins today in that pivotal Georgia Senate runoff. Those two races that will decide the power in the U.S. Senate. Here's former White House Communications Director Alyssa Farah.
What's going to matter, frankly, is who is in control of the Senate. I think we've seen that if it's just Democrats, we're not going to get answers to these basic questions around Hunter Biden's business finances. So we've absolutely got to make sure that Republicans keep control of the Senate so we get answers on these.
Now, that's an interesting take. I mean, if Republicans don't retain a majority of the Senate, does this thing go away?
Yeah,
this Hunter Biden thing.
Yeah, the investigation would seem to go away because they would be in control of all levers of the government. So, we'll see what happens on January 5th, but it's truly investigations depend on having investigatory power.
All right, before I let you go, just a quick wraparound question, because the big story of today are the vaccinations. As you look ahead and Operation Warp Speed, what should America see next? You said that you have those 6. We'll see another come online on Thursday. Next steps.
Yes, that's exactly right. And this delivery, I don't want to underestimate just how important this delivery was and how nuanced it was. 145 sites today, 425 sites tomorrow, another 66 on Wednesday. There were literally trial runs, delivery dry runs, just to make sure that we had it just perfect so that every possible life was saved. This delivery is tremendous. And then these new vaccines in phase 3 clinical trial, AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson, showing hope as well. So many vaccines to come, a great testament to President Trump.
Kaylee McEnany, good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you.